WMUR is committed to getting you the facts, and in partnership with the nonprofit PolitiFact, we're fact-checking all the major candidates in the 2024 race for president. Today, we're focusing on comments made by Vivek Ramaswamy when he was here yesterday filing for the First in the Nation primary. Sam Putterman with PolitiFact joining us now. Sam, great to see you again. So we want to hone in on something that Mr. Ramaswamy said yesterday when it comes to the Iron Dome, U.S. defense. He said this. I'm just going to start with the first part of it. Quote, "I think the U.S. needs the equivalent of an Iron Dome because Russia has hypersonic missile capabilities ahead of that of the U.S. We are vulnerable to new threats on the homeland." Okay, so I want to start there, Sam. So I think it's helpful to break this into several parts to help out our viewers understand this. Starting with this. So to the first point, I think the U.S. needs the equivalent of an Iron Dome. Do we have one?
No, not exactly. There have been military services with the U.S. that have purchased Iron Dome batteries, and they're in the process of trying to make those operational and see how they can use those in current defense mechanisms. But we don't have an operational Iron Dome as Israel does. But military experts say that it's not really useful for the U.S. to have one because we don't face the same challenges as Israel, which handles, short range rockets all the time. And that is what the Iron Dome is, predominantly used for.
Right. Those two batteries that the U.S. purchased in 2020, actually, there's reporting out today from Axios that we're sending those back to Israel now so they can use them badly needed against the war with Hamas. So, Sam, because the Iron Dome is focused on short-range objects, mortars, small rockets, it wouldn't really be helpful for the U.S. That's what you guys determined, unless we were watching threats from Canada or Mexico, essentially.
Exactly. That was what military experts told us. They were like, if we were to see any kind of violent threats from neighbors like Canada, like you said, like Mexico, that's when an Iron Dome kind of system is useful. But when it comes to long-range missiles, talking about North Korea or Russia or China, that's not really where, it can come into play.
Okay, so let's go into the rest of what Mr. Ramaswamy said, talking about these hypersonic missiles. He says Russia has hypersonic missile capabilities ahead of that of the U.S. What did you find out about that claim?
So he is pretty much right that, according to available evidence, the U.S. has lagged behind Russia in the development of hypersonic missiles, which are missiles that can travel very, very fast, up to 5 times the speed of sound. And we're also behind China. But some military analysts, when it comes to Russia at least, says that, their capabilities may be exaggerated. The country appears to be using, older Cold War era technology. And we really don't know yet whether or not those missiles are reliable or if they've even been mass produced at this point.
So are we badly vulnerable, as Vivek Ramaswamy says, when it comes to this threat of hypersonic missiles?
Not so much. I mean, military experts do say that, the U.S.'s homeland defense, is modest, but it's not non-existent. So, in reality, the military, first of all, has been working to ramp up testing and production for hypersonic missiles for years, but it has hit several roadblocks. But experts said that, let me try to find where it was. But, oh, yeah, so the military has a lot of defenses when it comes to intermediate range nuclear missiles, or ICBMs, which is what we're having to deal with when it comes to North Korea and Russia. So there are some defense systems, in place. There's also deterrent, which is what the U.S. does a lot when it comes to these kinds of threats.
Yes, I saw in your fact check you guys referenced mutually assured destruction from one of the military aides that kind of keeps things at bay. So why are these hypersonic missiles then so hard to develop?
So it's just they've been known to be very difficult to develop, mainly because of the heat problem. So because the extreme heat the missiles are exposed to, because they're going at such high speeds, scientists have to manage that while also shielding, sensitive electronics and predicting aerodynamics at high temperatures. And all of this requires very specialized materials, extensive testing, and that also drives up cost, which is a challenge.
Yes, it is. All right, Sam, we really appreciate you breaking this down for us as we fact check all the major candidates during this race. Thanks so much.
Right. Thanks so much.